Hey, you alright? Welcome to another video. If you haven't been here before, my name is Georgia Jo and this is my channel where I talk all things books. Welcome to Bookmas Day 2. So I've just filmed the Bookmas Day 1 earlier and I mentioned at the beginning that my plan was to get all Christmassy for the first few days of Bookmas and, you know, get dressed up and have a nice Christmas outfit on, but it is so cold that I don't want to get out of this jumper. But I also wanted to get some filming done, so this is the get up for today and that's okay. We're sticking like this. We're nice and comfy, nice and cozy. Probably the best way to start Bookmas, really, being like this. So yeah, I thought anyway today I wanted to go through some of the books that I read recently, and most of them I read in November, but I think I haven't done a wrap up for a while because I just didn't film anything for a while. So I thought I would just pick out some of the books as well that I read over the last few months. So yeah, let's just get into it. Okay, so we'll start off with the Shadow and Bone trilogy. So I actually did a whole reading vlog reading these three. So most of my views are in that video, so I won't go into too much detail, but I really enjoyed this. I definitely recommend it. I really wanted to get into Leigh Bardugo's writing, and I've got the Six of Crows duology and I know that it says to read these first. Not that it matters if you haven't read them, but if you're planning on reading them all, this is typically comes first. So I wanted to get these three read before I read the Six of Crows duology, and like I say, I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good to get into a new fantasy world and a really quite easy world to understand, but also felt like there was lots going on, you know. So they've got Shadow and Bone, which I gave 4 stars to, Siege and Storm, which I gave 4 stars to, and then Ruin and Rising, which I gave 4.25 stars to. I think in the vlog I said 4.5, but I actually ended up bringing it down to 4.25. But yeah, very much recommend, 4-star series overall, and yeah, really enjoyed it. Next up, we've got one that I actually listened to and I would definitely recommend listening to it, and it's This Lie Will Kill You by Chasey Pitcher. I really enjoyed this book. It actually really took me by surprise how much I enjoyed it. I ended up giving it 5 stars. Honestly, it had me gripped from the very beginning. I thought it was going to be sort of a bit like A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, the Killjoy, which is like the prequel. I thought it was going to be a bit like that, but sort of maybe not enjoy the characters as much, or you know, that kind of thing. Also, just as a little side note, I think on Goodreads I saw this was in the children's like 9 to 12 or something like that. This is not for children's 9 to 12, I wouldn't say at all. There's so much going on in this book, like so much like trauma that the people are going through. There's a lot of violence going on in it. I think there might have even been a bit of a sex scene at one point, and it like alluding to things like rape and being suicidal and people dying. There was like a lot going on, so much going on that I did not expect at all, but I really enjoyed it. Like I say, it had me gripped. I did not want to stop listening to it. It's all I wanted to do. I stopped whatever I was doing because I wanted to be so, you know, invested and not distracted by anything that I couldn't stop listening. I really enjoyed it. I thought the narrator, the voice actor, was really good as well. I think I listened to it on BookBeat, and yeah, really enjoyed it. So it's basically about a group of kids, I guess, a group of friends that all get invites in the post from like it's like a mystery person, but it's to win a scholarship for a school, I think. And there's a bit of like a murder mystery where some kind of murder with one of the friends happened a year before, and then this invite is for exactly a year later, but you don't know who's died, you don't know who killed them, you don't know why. It's just, like I say, murder mystery. And then they've all been invited to this house to do another murder mystery, sort of like, you know, where you go and do a murder mystery dinner, that type of thing, what you actually can go and do in real life. And you all get given like a character that you are, like a role, and then you've got to pretend you are that person, whoever you've been assigned to. So yeah, it's kind of like that, but there's so many twists and turns in it. There's so many like shock things happening that I just wasn't expecting. I think because I went in with the mindset of this is like for 12-year-olds, for 9 to 12-year-olds, or whatever that age bracket is. I was just really shocked, and yeah, just didn't expect it at all. It reminded me a bit when, not that it's the same type of story at all, but it reminded me a bit when I watched One Tree Hill for the first time, and I thought going into One Tree Hill it was just like a cheesy college, you know, American program, and then like loads of things were happening, like people dying, people murdering people, a stalker, and I was just like, what is happening? This is not what I was expecting at all. So yeah, it was a little bit like that, but not that the storylines are the same whatsoever, just the feeling it gave me was similar. Anyway, I've rambled on enough about this one. Yeah, This Lie Will Kill You, Chelsea Pitcher, would definitely recommend this. I really enjoyed it. Next up we have got How to Kill Your Family by Bella Mackie. This one, especially coming off the back of This Lie Will Kill You, I didn't massively enjoy it. I think maybe, I don't know, maybe I just had really high hopes for it, maybe, I'm not sure. Not that it was a bad book at all. So it's essentially about, I can't even remember the character's name, Grace. Grace is the main lead, and her mum's passed away and her dad isn't in her life, and she basically wants to kill everyone on her dad's side of the family, is essentially what it is, because he like disowned them, basically left them to it. They didn't have the best life, and I think he had loads of money and he just didn't help. He just refused. He had his own other family, he had an affair with Grace's mom, and just didn't want anything to do with them, basically. So yeah, it's following her sort of on her like journey of killing her family. And yeah, I don't know, I just didn't, I think I just couldn't get into it. I finished it, I didn't DNF it, and I gave it 3 stars, but I think it was just, it did its job, you know. It was there, it was entertaining, but nothing like crazy. I feel like I saw a lot of it coming. There was also the end of it, which I can't really tell you about because I don't want to ruin anything, but there's like the end sort of chapter which just feels really long, and I wasn't really a fan of how it ended. If you've read it, I think you'll kind of know what I mean, but yeah, I don't want to ruin it by saying what happens, obviously. But yeah, I wasn't a fan of the ending. It kind of brought it down a bit for me, you know. So yeah, I ended up giving it 3 stars, and I probably won't reach for it again, but maybe if someone was asking for this type of thing, I'd be like, oh, have you read this, you know, but it probably wouldn't spring to mind. But yeah, anyway, that was How to Kill Your Family by Bella Mackie. Next up we have Ink by Alice Broadway. This one again took me a little bit by surprise because I didn't really know anything about this book, but I thought it was a really cool concept, but I didn't really understand sort of if it was like there was a magic system involved, or I guess there was, but I don't know, it was just a bit weird. So basically everyone in this sort of world gets tattoos for their like life stories, and I thought at one point that the tattoos just appeared, so I was like, wow, that's cool. So even if you like murdered someone, a tattoo would appear about that, so everyone would know you've murdered someone. But then it turns out they actually get the tattoos, like it's just like a tattoo parlor and someone's just tattooed. So then I feel like if you've done something bad, why would you go to a tattoo parlor and get that tattooed on you, you know? So I was a little bit confused by that, but I did think it was a cool concept about having like your whole life tattooed on you. And there was like twists and turns, there's a bit of a mystery involved in it, and I can't remember the lead's name. I'm so bad, once I put a book down I just don't remember anything. Leora, that was her name. So it's about Leora, whose dad passes away, but there's a bit of mystery surrounding her dad's death, which I'm pretty sure it says on, like, you know, you get that quite early on. I think it might even say it on the blurb on like Goodreads or whatever, the description of it. And there's a bit of mystery surrounding her dad's death. Some of his tattoos are sort of not what you're expecting, and yeah, it's a very cool concept. I And I think I want to read the rest of the series, because I think there's 3. I think it's a trilogy, but I only own the first one. So it kept me gripped enough to want to read the rest, but I just thought I didn't really understand the magic system. I think it went over my head a little bit, or if it even is a magic system, I don't know. I can't fully remember now. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. I think what I need to do when I star it is write a little like paragraph of my thoughts, because I just forget. But as I read this like 3 weeks ago now. But anyway, I did enjoy it, and I will read the rest of the series at some point, but I'm not necessarily jumping to read it, you know. So yeah, that was Ink by Alice Broadway. Side note, beautiful book. Really, really pretty book. All of it is this like gold sort of foil. Very pretty. Next up we have Sweet Pea by C.J. Scoose. This has recently turned into a TV series, and I really wanted to watch the TV series because my sister and my mum had watched it and said, you know, it's really good, but I wanted to read the book first. First of all, they're not really alike. They are, but the book is so much more graphic. There's so much more going on in this book than there is in the programme, probably because they couldn't show it on the programme. But I loved this book. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4.75 stars. I don't really know why I didn't give it 5 now I'm thinking about it, because I did really, really enjoy it. But there must have been something whilst I was reading it that, I don't know, I didn't like or something. I can't really remember. But yeah, the last person who called me Sweet Pea ended up dead. It's basically it's not really a murder mystery. You're sort of following the murderer, like she is the murderer, Sweet Pea. And you're just sort of following her, getting like her revenge on people, I guess. But it's so funny. It's so unexpectedly funny. I would definitely listen to it. This is another one that I listened to, and I'd really recommend. I thought the audiobook was really, really good. And like I say, really funny. That I just wasn't expecting it to be as funny as it was. Like I say, very graphic. Like, this happens really early on, so I'm not really spoiling anything. But there's one scene where she cuts off a man's penis, and it's just like, and then shoves him in like a lake or something, or a canal, something. It's not even a nice lake, it's like a canal or something like that. And yeah, it's just very graphic, and she's just like walking home with this like severed knob in her handbag, and she's just like gets on with the day with this like blood all over her that she's got a jacket on to cover it up. There's a lot going on. I definitely check some like maybe some trigger warnings before you go into this if you're not a fan of talking about blood and stuff. I don't even know if there are trigger warnings in the actual book, but maybe look them up, because there's a lot going on. But it is really funny as well, so it's not heavy, you know. It's very light-hearted, but there is also a lot happening. And yeah, after you've read it, I definitely recommend watching the programme, because that was really good as well. But yeah, really, really enjoyed this one. Sweet Pea by C.J. Scoose. I think it's Scoose, something along those lines. Also, it's a series, which I didn't realise, so I'm definitely going to listen to the others. But yeah, 4.75 out of 5 would definitely recommend. Another 5-star that I read recently, or that I listened to recently, was Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. So this one did its rounds on TikTok, and I kept hearing little snippets of it, and I thought, okay, I'm sold. I'll listen to it, you know. And it's definitely, I don't know the experience of reading it, but the experience of the audiobook was so good. Again, this is one that's unexpectedly funny. It's a stalker romance, and usually I'm a bit like, I'm not really a fan of those, but especially when there's like things like dubious consent and stuff like that around it, that's just not for me. I don't typically enjoy it. But this one was really good. I think because the voice actors were so good in it. Also, I feel like a lot of the times when there's dual POV with the voice actors, even when it's on like the female's point of view, the female actor will just put on a deeper voice if the man's speaking in like her point of view, if that makes sense. Whereas this one, they are they are sort of narrating it together almost. So even if it's in, what's the character's name? I can't even remember. Ali. Even if it's in Ali's point of view, if Josh is saying something, it will be the male actor saying something. I hope that makes sense. I hope that I'm explaining that properly. And I've never noticed before how much that adds to it, because you really feel like you are listening to those two talk, you know? You're not just listening to the female do a deeper voice. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I feel like it really added to the story, added to the audiobook a lot, that it was flowing a lot better, you know? And yeah, like I say, very funny. Just a bit of a, I was going to say a cheesy romance, but it's not really cheesy, but it's a very sort of predictable romance, you know, as a lot of them are. There's another one coming out, I think it's called Caught Up, next year, which I've already pre-ordered because I really enjoyed it, and hopefully it's the same voice actors, and I'll probably listen to it again. But yeah, would really recommend, especially listening to this, I'd really recommend listening to it. I think I said, but I gave it 5 stars, and it says the couple who slays together stays together on the front, which is a very cheesy like saying, isn't it? The couple who slays together stays together, but I would really recommend it. It was so good. Very much enjoyed. Okay, next up we have Star Daughter by Shveta Thakrar. I enjoyed this book. I gave it 4 stars. I didn't really know much about it going into it, and I don't think I've ever read a book about like stars before. So it was basically following Sheetal, who is half human, half star. Her mum is a star and her dad's a human, and her mum left her when she was young to go back up to where the stars live, up above, and left her and her dad together. But because she's half star, she's coming into these like powers that she doesn't really understand, she doesn't really know how to control, and she ends up harming her dad. But in order to save her dad's life, she needs to go and see her mum with all the stars to get some star, like full star blood, to help him, basically, to save his life. But when she goes up there, it turns out there's these like trials that she needs to go through and stuff. There's this competition, not trials, there's this competition that she needs to be in order to get what she wants. And there's a few like twists in there that I wasn't expecting. There's a lot of characters that I really enjoy. There's a bit of, not necessarily found family, that's not really the right phrase, but there's like characters that she friends that she finds up there, and they all sort of come together, that kind of thing, but not really found family, just they're all there. I don't want to ruin it, but anyway, she has a best friend as well, whose name begins with M, who I can't remember, obviously, because I can't remember anything. It's something beginning with M, and I really enjoyed Meenal. I really enjoyed that character as well. I think again I listened to this book. I think I did where I listened to it and I read it at the same time. And I really enjoyed that, because there's a few things that maybe I wouldn't necessarily know how to pronounce in this book, and I thought it was really, it didn't take me out of the story because someone else was pronouncing it, you know, rather than having to look up how to say some things. So yeah, really enjoyed it, gave it 4 stars, would definitely recommend. Like I say, I've never read a book about stars before, or like half star, half human. I don't even know if I've ever really seen that before. Maybe I have, I'm not sure. But yeah, I really enjoyed, and it just feels very like magical, you know. It's very, the descriptions and stuff, it's all just sounds very colourful, and there's like a certain bit of it where she goes to this like magic sort of market. It reminded me, not that they were similar, but a little bit of like Diagon Alley, where it's a specific place where you get all of your like magical items that you need, a little bit like that. So yeah, I'd really recommend it. It just felt very magical, very nice read. But also stuff going on, like the plot was really good, kept you engaged the whole time. So yeah, would definitely recommend. I gave it 4 stars. Next up we have Can't Spell Treason Without T by Rebecca Thorne. So this is the first one in, I think it's going to be a trilogy, I think, and this is a cozy fantasy. The author herself says it's inspired by Legends and Lattes, which I really enjoyed Legends and Lattes, so I had a feeling I was going to enjoy this. and I definitely did. It's about Kianth and Raina, who Kianth is a mage. She's like the most powerful mage. I can't think what the actual her title is now, but she's a really, you know, powerful. She's got really powerful magic, an elemental mage. And Raina is a royal guard, and they just decide they don't want to live this high stakes life anymore. They want a nice chilled life. They want to escape. They want to go on the run and open a bookshop and a tea room in one. So that's what they go and do. And they're discovering like where to get the tea from, where to purchase all the books from, how to import them all. Then they're opening it in this little town that's like a little bit run down, but all the town comes together, and it's just a really lovely book. There's also a little side plot, like a subplot I guess, with dragons involved, which is what's all over the spine. Very beautiful book. Yeah, dragon eggs, stolen dragon eggs involved, and it's just a really lovely book. Not like loads going on, not loads of thought from me needed. I can just sit and enjoy it and, you know, explore this new world. And yeah, I'm looking forward to reading the next one. I do already have it. I can't think what it's called now. A Pirate's Life of Tea, I think it's called. And that's also got Kianth and Raina in that one, but I think there are going to be more side characters in it, I think. But yeah, I'm looking forward to reading that one, and then I've already pre-ordered the third one because I enjoyed this one so much. I definitely think cozy fantasy is one of like my favourite genres. I seem to really enjoy it. So yeah, definitely recommend this one. I think I gave it 4 stars. Yeah, I did. 4 out of 5. Can't spell treason without tea. A cozy fantasy steeped in love. It was very cute. Very cute. Maybe like a January, February read. That's when I'm going to read the next one. When you know, it's freezing, it's wet outside, you know, it won't stop raining or snowing, whatever we're expected to have, and you haven't got any money, you just want to chill at home in your fluffy jumper and read a nice cozy fantasy. That's what I'm imagining for myself. So yeah, that is Can't Spell Treason Without Tea. And then last but not least, we have got Rewitched by Lucy Jane Wood. I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4.5 stars. I definitely think the sort of cozy magic it's just for me. That's what I enjoy reading. So this is like a witchy book. It's following Belle, who is about to turn 30, and so at 15 your magic is like awakened, and then at 30 you go through like a trial and it decides if you're going to keep your magic or not. Like depending on what you've done over those 15 years decides if you are like worthy of the magic essentially. But she didn't know that was happening. She basically lives among like non-witch folk, and her best friend isn't a witch, and she doesn't know that Bella is a witch, and she just uses a magic for like ease from a day-to-day life, you know, to like make her a cup of tea or switch all the lights on or shut the door for her and stuff like that. When she finds out she's gonna get sort of judged on if she's used a magic or not, she's shitting herself basically, because she's thinking, I haven't done anything amazing with my magic for the past 15 years because I didn't know this was gonna happen. And yeah, it's just following that. She has to go to this like witchy council and they decide what happens, and her mum is a witch, but she's not allowed on the council because, you know, she don't want to be biased. And it's just following that storyline basically, but there's a lot going on that I wasn't expecting. A few different like plot lines happening. There's a little bit of romance, I feel, if I remember rightly. There's a bit of romance in there, but not really. It's very much a small part of it, you know. It's definitely not like a romance book. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Just really lovely read. Easy to understand the like magic system because it's just magic, you know. A little bit remind me of, so she describes her kitchen right near the beginning where like her kettle is boiling and she's like the dishes are doing themselves I think at one point, and she's just little bits of magic. And it reminded me of the scene in Harry Potter, can't remember which one it is now, but where he goes to the Burrows for the first time and Molly Weasley has got like the dishes doing themselves, and I'm pretty sure the spuds were like what's it called, not grating, peeling. The spuds were like peeling themselves at one point and stuff like that. It just reminded me of that scene, so it felt a little bit nostalgic in that way. But yeah, really enjoyed it, definitely recommend. Also another beautiful book. It's got this very cute cat at the bottom and then the beautiful with the sun at the top. Very pretty book. She's already got, her next book has already been announced. I think I'm gonna say it's called Uncharmed or something like that, which I've already pre-ordered because I really enjoyed it. But yeah, would definitely recommend this one. 4.5 stars out of 5. Give it a read if you like the sort of, I wouldn't say it's low stakes, but it's definitely not high stakes, you know, it's like in the middle. But it's a very nice, lovely book to read. So yeah, that is the end of my wrap up. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them, if you completely disagree with any of my ratings or if you agree with any of them, let me know. But yeah, that is the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did and you'd like to subscribe, I would really appreciate it. But other than that, I will see you in a bit.